Present day Leelas, beginning, this is from the Godram Kalpatavi, page 21, mitigating doubts. Bhaktivinoda Thakur reads, states, many people have written to the Godram Kalpatavi regarding the description of certain workers in the second part, namely the Brahmanic, barber, doba, washerman, and darji tailor. What is the exact nature of their duties? The posts of barber, washer, and tailor are most elevated, except for highly qualified persons. No one can accept these two positions. That person who can bring a lusty, ill-behaved, and dirty person with messy and unkept hair to the position of a clear and pure Vaishnava is known as the Namhata's barber. Report. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, earlier in the second part, the second edition of the Godram Kalpatavi, had given 20 different employments. And one of the employments was to be a barber. So normally in society, barbers, washermen, tailor are pretty simple jobs, especially a barber maybe is considered somewhat not the cleanest of jobs, which are cutting people's hair, shaving them. Like if we shave, we have to take a shower before we do pujas. And here Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that in the Namhat, to be a barber is one of the most elevated services. The barber is not exactly what in the Namhat is the same as in the material society. In material society, it's cutting hair. But here, in the spiritual society, it means it takes someone who's lusty, ill-behaved, dirty, messy, unkept, to the position of a pure Vaishnava. In other words, taking someone who is very rough around the edges, making them into a nice, gentlemanly, ladylike Vaishnava, Vaishnavi. That's the barber's job. See someone with a lot of compassion, a lot of mercy, who can touch the heart of people who are not in a good standing spiritually, and bring them, elevate them to the pure Vaishnava state. So is that an important job? What is it? They require a lot of patience, a lot of kindness for that to happen. Then we have the washerman. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, quote, a person who can raise someone whose fallen character can be compared to the clothes stained with filth and stool. One who can clean and reinstate such a person is called the Namhata washerman. Karma, Jnana, Yoga, and various kinds of Vedic ritualistic activities are compared to separate pieces of cloth. Okay, that's separate. So the washerman, where it ends where it says, is called the Namhat washerman. Period. Purport. So this person is a washerman. Like every time when we wear clothes, we get the clothes dirty. No matter how much we put on new clothes every day, at the end of the day they're dirty. We notice. So but some people, they get their clothes very dirty. They were in a muddy place or filthy place. So some devotee is falling down from their spiritual standard. Their consciousness has become contaminated, just like clothes are contaminated with dirt. And how to purify the consciousness. That is the job of the washerman. He comes in and takes the fallen devotees, devotees whose consciousness has got contaminated by different kinds of material dirt, and he cleans it up. It's like someone wearing a nice fresh cloth again. So they're back in the proper devotional standard. So that's the washerman. So it's another important job. Obviously, one is taking like new bhaktas and getting them to become nice Vaishnavas. Washerman and barber are quite similar, actually. But the way Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains it, if someone became contaminated, they were already pure and they kind of fell down again. Kind of reinstated, that's the washerman. Someone comes already contaminated and filthy and like with the hair all unkept, that's the barber. And the third one is the tailor. So we start again by Thakur quotation. Karma, Jnana, Yoga, and various kinds of Vedic ritualistic activities are compared to separate pieces of cloth which an expert tailor can join together with a thread of pure devotional truth. That establishes activities based upon perfect and pure devotional service. This is the activity of a Namhata tailor. Report. So, the idea is that There are many different Vedic rituals, and these Vedic rituals are religious, but they're not pure devotional service unless they're dovetailed with the bhakti. So the tailor knows how to tie everything in so that the different rituals become connected to devotional service. What we call the dovetailer, one who ties everything, joins them all together with a thread of perfect and pure devotional principles. So this is the definition Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave for a barber, washer, and tailor. Then he has some more different positions. The Punya Vidigapati, all those who are born in the family of the Lord, engaged in the selfless preaching of the Nam Hata. The Nama shall be known as the Namhatas, Punya Vidigapatis, masters of the bazaar. Apparently Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had some people who came in the families of, like, when we went to Shantipur, we met the person who was in charge of the Shantipur temple. He was the 14th generation directly in the family line of Advaita Acharya. And quite an illustrious family. They generally say that up to 14 generations, things stay okay. Or could stay. After that, they often fall apart. That's a side issue. Bhaktivinoda Thakur 110 years ago must have had people 11, 12 generations, different devotional families. So to give them a little recognition, to bring them on the path of pure devotional service, he gave them the Punya Vidigapati title, Master of the Bazaar. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we respect people who come in illustrious families, but we really recognize them if they're doing devotional service purely. There may be many illustrious families, but if they're not Krishna conscious, they're not practicing devotional service in a pure way. And the fact that they're part of an illustrious family is not really such an important thing for us. At the same time, the people from those families take up devotional service, that's good. They already have a great tradition, just like we want our children, grandchildren, descendants of the devotees to also be Krishna conscious. What to speak of if they're from some family of an acharya. I had the good fortune to know and be a spiritual father for Prabhupada's granddaughter. Unfortunately, about 2 years ago during the flood in Mayapur, father invited her to leave Mayapur and go home in Calcutta to her parental home. They thought it would be safer for her. And on the way she got caught in a rapid current of water, and we lost about 3 devotees then. Survived by her husband and brother. I'd like to encourage Prabhupada's former family and to keep chanting Hare Krishna and practice Krishna consciousness and to speak of other holy families. So this was some indication that Bhaktivinoda Thakur was doing something along that line and giving them a little special place so that they maybe felt more attracted to join the Krishna consciousness movement that was going on under the title of Namahata. Next section is called Panchayat. Quote, Panchayat. Any 10 or more employees of the Namahata who together come to Godram Kshetra for the purpose of establishing themselves deeply in the activities of spreading the Namahata shall then become Sri Namahata's Panchayat, or the main merchants' representatives. Report that just as we in ISKCON, we have a governing body commission or GBC who Prabhupada established as the highest authority for deciding spiritual policies and giving us spiritual direction and standards in ISKCON for a worldwide movement. So Bhaktivinoda had established also such a kind of body, we call it the Panchayat. In India, the word Panchayat is like local government. Villages have their Panchayat, blocks have a Panchayat. At least in Bengal, I don't know how it is in other states, but they have at some level some Panchayat. So it means committee of devotees in this context for managing, making policies for the whole Namahata. So that's historically quite interesting that we're also following Bhaktivinoda Thakur's plan that he had established as kind of a committee. Keep the door open for some air. That's okay, we're watching. There's many people, this is... Where is it cooler, outside or inside? So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had this system. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he also said to make a governing body. And they were managing under one, but then some of the followers thought this is not the dynamic. We should have, like under the ones under Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one acharya, dynamic, telling everybody what to do, managing everything. But there was, Prabhupada kept stressing that issue that it was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's instruction to establish a governing body and run the affairs of the, at that time, Gaudiya Math under the governing body. So, but then eventually they broke up the governing body and elected one Acharya. And that Acharya later had a fall down. He was a sannyasi and he got married and left his acharyaship. So then, because they didn't have a governing body to hold everything together, the Gaudiya Math split up, and now there's, I don't know, 50 branches of Gaudiya Math. It was shattered. So, Prabhupada stressed that we want to follow the instructions of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that he was, his claim to his success, if it was due to anything, he said, it was due to that I strictly followed the instructions of my spiritual master. So, that's one of the things we did in ISKCON. We have a governing body, and if the goings get rough, then we have many people to gather together and decide what is the best course of action to take at that time, rather than depending on one person. So you can see the wisdom in that. But it didn't start with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. You can see here it started with Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He had made this Panchayat to be the representative of the main merchant. Who is the main merchant? Nityananda Prabhu. He gave such a high position that it would be the representative of Lord Nityananda. So, these are the end of the part 3. Here Bhaktivinoda mentioned more names. He appointed 6 storekeepers, 4 brokers, and 53 traveling salesmen to the Namhat. Everybody's name was mentioned. Again, this was part of his using the media available to spread and unite the Namahata, his organization. He didn't have a web page, didn't have internet, didn't have email. I don't even think there was telephones. There was only maybe telegrams. I remember when I came to India, we used to send telegrams. We got a telegram, we pasted on telegrams. Ever see a telegram? It's probably the older generation, the old people still remember telegrams. So, at that time there was none of these things, so he used this magazine to spread the news. So, through the magazine he'd be appointing, authorizing new Namhats, brokers, traveling salesmen, different employees of the Namhat, different preachers. He called them employees, but nobody's working for money, everybody's working for bhakti. The idea was that then everybody's getting a copy of their magazine, their little newsletter, and they would know who the up-to-date employees are. There was Post in those days, Indian Post, and the newsletter would get out to everybody. We have a problem now in Mayapur that we tried to publish a very nice magazine in the DVT called Bhagavad Darshan, for the realization of the personality of Godhead, with pictures, and so we send it by the post sometimes, but it doesn't always reach. Maybe someone said that it's possible that one of the postmen liked the magazine so much, they kept it. So we don't, especially if it's a distant place. Really nice. So, I don't know. Could be something else. I don't want to blame anybody, but many places we're using couriers now seem to be more responsible. So this. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a simple newsletter. It seems just probably didn't have any pictures or graphics. Since he wasn't having too much trouble getting his newsletter out. Maybe in the future we found only 4 or 5 issues of this Guru Kalpatali. The desire tree of Godrum Dweep. Maybe in the future we'll find more. Some old archive or library somewhere. There's he refers to some other literatures that he published. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a prolific writer and publisher. So there's something called the Vishnu Priya Patrika that seems to be dedicated to preaching. And in the Bhakti Vaibhav, another book, compilations of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has 108 ways covering different topics that he was preaching on. 108 ways is spreading the mercy all over the universe. So there he makes predictions. All people from the Western countries are going to take up the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. They're going to come to India. They're going to chant Jai Sachinandan. He said that the victory flag of the holy name would go all over the world and spread the glories of the holy name all over the world. Different kind of predictions. So we not found copies of just found excerpts. But Vishnu Priya Patrika, we didn't find the old copies here from the 1800s. So we're very fortunate we have archives, like 12 months BBT archives. They're also looking for some funding. The BBT doesn't need all their expenses. It's a separate trust. The fact that we have Prabhupada's lectures and writings all archived is an important thing. Eventually we should also be archiving all the works of the 6 Goswamis and all the different acharyas, like Thakur. In South India there's a temple in a place called Melkote, about a couple hours south of Bangalore, which is there's Yoga Narasimha Devi and the Narayana Devi. That place is considered to be like Vaikuntha on earth. There they have an institute for the Sri Sampradaya. And they have like, I don't know, dozens of people working in this archives. They have a room about maybe 2 to 3 times the size of this room, filled with manuscripts in Palmis. Air conditioned, the Palmis have a treatment center. They put special preserving oil. And they have another room where I went a number of years ago, they had a whole room filled with Macintosh, different kinds of computers. They were transcribing all the things from the different manuscripts onto the computer so it would be readily accessible. And then putting the manuscript back into the fridge room. So it's quite impressive actually that somebody's taking care of their heritage and their archives. I'm sure that as time goes on, for us, and even now, where do you find these manuscripts? We came across an unpublished book of Vrindavani Bhajan by Narahari Sarkar, Narahari Thakur, who was one of the associates of Lord Chaitanya. And that gave a lot of good information about if there's some problem with the Guru, what to do, about Shiva Tattva, about different things which were the kind of difficult issues sometimes for devotees to deal with. Guru Tattva and Shiva Tattva are very, you can say, esoteric. Sometimes not so clear what should be done in different circumstances. That book became very valuable for us at one time. And so there are so many books out there. I don't know if there's any attempt to save them. At least we have a Prabhupada archive. Maybe in the future we should have that or some other archive expanded for, or some Pradaya, Gaudiya archive. There are some different Gaudiya Vaishnavas that have done some preservation. We don't have any knows exactly what manuscripts they have. We know that there are some who have manuscripts. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. In Chaitanya Bhagavat it mentions that before Lord Chaitanya appeared, the situation in Navadvip was less than ideal for the Vaishnavas. That people were religious to an extent, but they were not spiritual, usually, mostly. And even the so-called religious activities were often just to show off. Like rich people wanting to show their wealth by having elaborate and expensive marriages of their daughters, which is maybe for common people the most common religious ceremony and opulent religious ceremony that's done in the Vedic tradition. There's Adivas, it's like today is Adivas. For Purnima they have Adivas for the wedding. Or the day before the wedding there's some different kinds of ceremonies. These are mentioned also that when Lord Chaitanya was getting married, Buddhimanta Khan had said he wanted his marriage to be like that of a prince, very opulent. So they had a ceremony where they would bathe the bride and bathe the bridegroom separately with auspicious things like an abhishek, turmeric water and yogurt and things, so that to purify them for their marriage vows and to take the next day. And they would have a little feast where they would give out kind of snacks and savories and sweets and things. So it said that at the ceremony organized by Buddhimanta Khan, he got a complaint that people were going out and getting their, whatever it was, their portion of sweets and savories, going back in the queue and coming for a second. He said, this is not good. You must do something about this. Now at most weddings, they probably keep guards or something, you know, they don't spend too much. But he had another philosophy. This should be such an opulent wedding that nobody can think to go twice. Give him 5 times the normal serving. So that they'll be totally blocked out with the sadhana. Sometimes there's a good feast, you see someone sitting down, do you want some more? Oh no, please, no more, I have no more space. You ever had a feast like that?
Day before yesterday, yesterday. Your mother memory feast was like that.
It was like that? Everyone was satisfied? Krishna, Durvasa got satisfied like that when Krishna ate a morsel of food from Draupadi. Everyone was bulging. Whoa! You cannot go to the Pandavas, too much food. So that's how Buddhimanta Khan fed all the guests for Lord Chaitanya's marriage adivas. Everybody came, they gave so much. They said that what spilled when they were serving was probably 5 times more than a normal wedding. They weren't spilling much in proportion. So there's all these different ceremonies. So it seems that was in the time of Lord Chaitanya, this before his advent. All people were competing to have all like that, a big opulent wedding. Maybe not to the standard of Buddhimanta Khan, he defeated everyone. The Lord Chaitanya, but you know, have something big to show off and see we're the most religious because I had a big wedding. So I'm not good to mix up Lord Chaitanya's example with this. But that was a fully Krishna conscious one. Before, say someone only had one daughter, and someone else, and he had a big wedding for his daughter, then his competitor, a rich man, married his daughter in a bigger wedding. I gotta get back to him, I gotta have a bigger festival than he did. There's no more daughter, what to do? Then what they did, they married they made some temporary dolls of Shiva and Parvati and married them. And someone else said, well, I don't do the same thing as the other guy, so let me marry a male and female dog. Someone said, well, I'll try a male and female cat. Picked up a little crown, changed the garlands to them. But what is this? This is It's not any worse than the Vedas who marry animals. Animals, they're not going to follow any marriage vows. After they do that ceremony, the dog could go off with any other dog. So it was just, it was really sacrilegious. It was, in the name of religion, they're just showing off their own materialistic nature. So the devotees were seeing all this, seeing how they did elaborate worship of demigods and demigoddesses. But there was very little worship of Krishna going on. Because of the lack of Krishna consciousness, Navadip was suffering from a spiritual vacuum. So that's why the Vaishnavas were praying, Advaita prayed, Srivas prayed, Haridas Thakur prayed, that Krishna should descend. He should appear in Navadip and he should deliver the people from their confusion and establish pure bhakti. So that, they get elaborate descriptions of all kinds of strange things going on. Of course, not everybody was vegetarian. Some people were offering meat to the Devi and taking it. It was maybe superficially appeared like a very religious place. But if you looked into it from a more spiritual perspective, it was not at all spiritual. So that was going on. Then they banned chanting Hare Krishna in the Hindus out loud. You can only chant silent japa. Then they said that if you chant it out loud, you would contaminate the holy names. Lord Chaitanya taught that how the holy name can be contaminated. The holy name is like the sun. Krishna Surya Sama Mayapur Andhakar Taha Krishna Taha Maya Nahi Adhikar. Krishna is like the sun, Maya is like the darkness. Where there's sunlight, there's no darkness, there's no Maya. So Krishna's holy name actually purifies the fallen soul. They weren't letting people chant the holy names. So this was a very difficult situation for the Vaishnavas. So they were urgently praying and desiring for the Lord to come and all be in that mood. How many were Lord Chaitanya's transcendental presence in the world? To the Sankirtan movement. Gauranga! 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 So Lord Chaitanya is present in the Sankirtan movement. The chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. By chanting these holy names, by following the instructions of Lord Chaitanya, we can get the same spiritual benefits that was available during the time of Lord Chaitanya's visible presence. So it's a very important thing for the world. The Harinams, the festivals, the retreats. So we're here at the spiritual center of the universe, Gupta Vrindavan, which is created by Radharani the pleasure of Krishna. Krishna appears here in the mood and the color of Radharani to give out the mercy. It says that in Navadvip Dham, the Kali Yuga, because of its nature of mercy, it keeps getting stronger and stronger. And this radiates out the mercy, which causes people to become more and more God conscious, Krishna conscious. The other holy abodes tend to get overloaded by the sinful reactions of the visitors in the Kali Yuga, and you get their powers get reduced. Holy dhams are rated by how much sins they can burn up from a visitor. We go to the holy dham, we want to get any sins, offenses, things to be removed from us, right? Those dhams that can take us back to Godhead, there's like 7 of them mentioned. So Mayapur is one of the 7, and it's the most powerful in the Kali Yuga. There's some that the minor holy places where you go and you get freed from sins like lying and cheating and some basic. But to get freed from the sin of killing a Brahmin or something, then not all of there's a certain class of dhams, of tirthas that can do that. Like Lord Ramchandra, he bathed at the Deva Prayag. It's the Ram temple is there, so to get rid of the sin from killing Ravana, who was a Brahmin by caste, although he was a demon Brahmin. Parshuram killed a few people. His chopper was stuck to his hand. So he was looking for something he could do to get freed from the sins from all the people he had killed. So there's a Parshuram Kunda in the northern Assam. I don't know if that's the official name, but that's what I remember it's called. But there's a Kunda there, a little lake that's very holy. And he bathed there and he got freed from the sins and the chopper came off his hand. So every year there's a big gathering there, people who go to take a holy dip. Kumbh Melas in India are very highly rated. People go back to Godhead when the nectar falls from the pot of Dhanvantari 4 times in a year, 4 times in a 12-year period. There's the Kumbh at Allahabad and Hardwar and Nasik and Ujjain. The biggest one is at Hardwar, at Allahabad, Prayag. So Prabhupada went there twice, once in 71 for the Ardha Kumbha, once in 77 for the Purna Kumbha. Ardha Kumbha, every 6 years a few little drops go. Was that 21 million people had gathered? The Purna Kumbha there were 31 million. Prayag. It's known now as Allahabad. The Prabhupada got initiated. So, we have, this is our mini Kumbha, a special gathering, get together. get spiritually purified, to get our batteries recharged. Some people just find it for that few days. Some stay here for a few weeks. But whatever you do, there's a lot of mercy flowing. I want to thank all of you for coming here and being part of the festival. Hope you all return with the full spiritual enthusiasm. Spread the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That your faith in Guru and Krishna is increased. The relation with Gauranga is deeper. Some devotees came here for the Bhakti Shastri, we had November, December, January, February, March. 3.5 months is the Bhakti Shastri course, but then they stay on for the festival. So they get an extended dose of holy down mercy. How many were here for the Bhakti Shastri course? Petra. Two here. Three. Rita. Four. Bhakteshwari. Five. The number. Some people stayed for the Mayapur Academy deity worship course, which is about a month. So it's also 3 months. 3 months. You don't know what to do in the winter months, where in some parts of the world it's very cold, in other parts of the world it's very hot. Here it's just kind of usually a little cool. It's a mild winter because we're on the Tropic of Cancer. Usually about 22 degrees centigrade in daytime, and maybe about 15 at night. 17. So, quite comfortable.
Is there any course for 1 month?
That's a what month course? You take half of Bhakti Shastri 1 year and half the next year. Over 2 years you cover it. You just have to remember what you learned at the experience. Anyway, you're all young with good memories. Any questions? Yes.
What is the difference between mental speculation and Krishna revealing something to devotees? Because when we go out for preaching, we generally come across people who might not be a devotee, or maybe just like you know, visiting devotees, and they say like Krishna is telling them to do this or that. Krishna is talking to them, and so how do to differentiate between whether it's just a mental concoction or a mind giving suggestions, or it's actually Krishna is revealing?
Sometimes you meet people and they say, well, I can't give a donation unless I talk to my brother-in-law and my wife and uncle and dog. Sometimes they say also, Krishna's telling me not to give. But they don't usually ask all these people when they make their business purchases or their business investments. So usually it's some kind of an excuse not to give a donation. Put it off. So those who do fundraising, then they learn how to just convince the person that what you're saying is not reasonable. You don't normally do like that. This is not such an issue like buying a book or giving a donation for a light membership, but you have to consult your whole plan. Indication from Krishna himself. $5 15,000 rupees or whatever it is. These are things you can use your free will. You're going to make a major donation for the temple of a few $100, then you will talk to other people. And then revelations or realizations which are Krishna conscious reveal to us in scripture, reveal to us how to serve. But you're in the preaching field, how much you want to get into a whole discussion on this topic with the person and whether it's the wise use of time. Maybe you can better use your time to go to someone else who's less complicated. If you have the time and the person is open to listening, I'll just say that you talk to somebody and before you finish talking they start replying. You haven't made your point, they're already replying it. That means they don't want to listen. They listen to you, explain that now everybody has free will, and the proper use of that is engaged in Krishna service or whatever the appropriate thing is for that time and place. The person is listening, and then maybe worthwhile to explain. You don't need that archangel to come and tell you to buy a book. It's not such an issue. You have to wait for the indication of Krishna. Lord Yashodas Babaji said he wanted to get he was going to ask Lord Chaitanya whether he should give initiation to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was a young brahmachari. So when Bhaktisiddhanta went back, he asked what Varanga said, so I forgot to ask. Finally he got initiated. So what to say with each person? It's something, my experience was, a few mantras would help you and try those out, see if it works. Otherwise you have to kind of pray in your heart to Krishna, what should I say to this person? They're putting up a smoke screen. And then Krishna helps you to say the right thing by your surrender. Otherwise I go in the Louisiana University free speech aisle, and I would get attacked by the fanatical Christian preachers. One of my sannyasi godbrothers was used to preaching to the evangelists and other people. He gave me some tips that when they come and attack you, just start asking them questions. That this is our only birth. So then give me a few tips what kind of questions. They don't have the answers for it. So I was in the free speech alley. There were hundreds of students listening to me. I was giving a Krishna conscious talk. And sure enough, one fanatical Christian came and started saying, Jesus is the only way, the truth, and the light, and they're going to go to hell. So many things. So then I said, well, you say that we only have one birth. Everybody is born, live their life, they go into the grave, they wait for the final judgment. So if that's your philosophy, then why is it God doesn't give a chance equally to everybody? Why some people are born in a poor family, some in a rich family, somebody is born with some handicap, some physical problems, someone's born blind, other people, it's only one life. And why everyone doesn't get like the same start? And it worked, you completely shut up. Then he said it's a mystery. So this is their exit phrase. It's a mystery. We respect all religions, but not every religion has the same knowledge that we have. They could use to learn more instead of being so antagonistic. It would be useful for them to learn some more from the Vedas, and they'll have a better handle. If their own scriptures are not so helpful as the Vedas are. So then all the people, when he didn't have an answer, then all the students are got his case, he ran off. So like different circumstances, different, you're one-on-one, if you're a whole group. You know that Krishna is guiding people in the heart. If they really take the guidance, they'll certainly take a Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, or some holy book, because that will reveal so much to them about Krishna. Any other questions?
Maharaj, the Krishna consciousness is going to be spread all over the world. That's a prediction.
Pardon?
The Krishna consciousness is going to be spread all over the world. That's a prediction.
Yeah.
And what do you think, until which degree or level the Krishna consciousness is going to be like an impact? I was thinking in like a Mahabharata, for example, in a movie, in the level of Steven Spielberg, for example, like in that quality movie, for example, they showing the people that the Vedic philosophy, Vedic wisdom is so high, so elevated. And do you think it's going to be until in that level of the people will recognize the Krishna consciousness in that level, or less or more, all over the world?
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, like for example, we see that.
What an example. Well, this verse we read today and yesterday in English and today in Bengali, where the same verse was about Dvisa, was Krishna Varnam, Jisa Krishnam, Sango Pangas, Tapashadam, Yagyai Sankirtanam, Brahaya, Janti Sumeda Saha. So the intelligent people will take up. How many people are intelligent? How many can appreciate? Whoever's intelligent, at least the many intelligent people are going to take it up. Once you tested every town and village, the Brahma Vaivarta Purana said there'll be a golden age. That means the whole environment's going to change, the whole, a major part of the society that would affect the majority of the society, would have an impact around the world. For 10,000 years, there would be a golden age where peace and love and Krishna consciousness, chanting the holy names, So Krishna consciousness is starting this renaissance around the world. And we are about 33 years, 65, 75, 85, 95, 43 years. So it took Jesus' Christianity 400 years to become a world movement. We're already, in 43 years, we're already around the world in many countries, most of the countries, many cities. And a very big impact. Devotees need to study Prabhupada's books and learn how to present Prabhupada's ideas, the wisdom of the Gita, the Bhagavatam, and the Vedas in a very an appropriate way for the particular audiences. You should have them within our lifetime, but in some lifetimes. Thank you very much. And did you finish your shadow now? What's that?